Hey everyone, Effie here. Today I'm going to show you how I made this New Year's card with some of our newer stamp sets as well as with some of our older stamp sets like our Pyrotechnics set. So I'm starting off with an A2 size cardstock panel which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm just going to blend some inks directly onto the panel using some Clarity Stencil brushes. I started off with our Lemon Drop dye ink and then I went above that and blended some Coral Cavern ink, then Cobalt Breeze, Miami Cool, and then I'm going to blend in a little bit of purple at the top two corners with our Iris Blooms dye ink. The reason I chose these colors is because I wanted a sunset color palette. I always like to choose a similar palette when I stamp the Pyrotechnic set because I think they just go so well hand in hand with each other. The Pyrotechnic set and a nice sunset behind it. So after I finish my blending, I'm going to use our Sparklers Alpha set, Pyrotechnics, and our Brush Cheer set. The large stamp in the Brush Cheer set, the actual sentiment, and the 2017 stamps from the Sparklers Alpha. I already set them up on my mini Misti, and I'm going to stamp them in our Grape Crush Dye Ink right onto our sunset panel. After I finish using my Misti, I'm going to stamp the stick for the sparklers, which comes in the set, and I'm stamping it in the same Grape Crush ink. Next, I'm going to stamp the 2 from the Brush Cheer Sentiment. It actually is the 2U, but I just did some partial inking to stamp the 2. After I finish the stamping, I'm going to dry off the entire panel by hitting it with my heat tool, and then I'm going to prep the panel for embossing using my anti-static powder tool. Then I'm going to take all the fireworks stamps, or most of the fireworks stamps from our Pyrotechnic set, and I'm just going to start stamping the entire panel. I overlap over the sentiment, which is totally fine. It adds some interest because we're going to be doing some silver glitter heat embossing, and it's going to look really nice when you overlap just a little bit. Now, I was liberal with stamping the small dots or the bursts in the set because I feel like it gives the card a little bit more interest and a little bit more of a realistic look. It does get a little busy, but these are fireworks and you can never have enough fireworks when you're ringing in the new year. So after I finish with the big burst, I go on to stamp the sparklers with their coordinating sparkler stamps. So once I finish stamping everything in Versamark ink, I'm going to take my heat tool and just melt all of that embossing powder. But after I do this, I'm not done embossing because I go back and I stamp the little tiny sparklers just to add a little bit more interest. And I'm just going to go back and stamp around the 2017 and around the sentiment. After I heat emboss the panel, I'm just going to go back and stamp some additional fireworks in the empty spaces on the panel because I want to make sure that it has that busy and festive, cheery look to the card. So after I take my heat tool to the actual panel, I'm going to adhere the embossed panel right onto a top folding A2 size card base. Lastly, I'm just going to add some glass slipper sequins in all sizes that we have. We have 10, 8, 6, 5, and 4 millimeter, and I'm just going to adhere them directly onto my card panel, and it's going to add to the busy and festive look, and it's a really nice color, and it goes with almost anything because of that clear iridescent look that it has to it. So here is a finished card, guys. I hope you guys have a happy and safe new year. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.